When you entered the strange little world, it was split into 4 directions, namely the east, south, west, and north. Each direction was separated by a formation. Since you're in the south, you're now qualified to compete for the role of the Dragon Envoy of Newland. The Dragon Envoy of Newland is also the leader of the Dragon Envoy of Carlton. He will be the strongest person. The one who becomes the Dragon Envoy of Newland will get enormous resources. I'm sure you don't need me to explain that in detail.
Theoretically, the Carlton Dragon Palace would reward the top 3 geniuses in the selection, but the rewards for the first place and the third place were drastically different. Moreover, there would be only one Dragon Envoy of Newland, so people would mostly forget about the candidates that won second and third place. Instantly, an intense fighting spirit surged within all candidates' hearts.
All right, let's get down to business then. All 17 of you, please come over to draw your numbers. There is a blank card among the 17 number cards. Whoever gets the blank card will advance to the next round automatically. Candidate number 1 will fight candidate number 9. Candidate number 2 will fight candidate number 10, and so on. In the end, candidate number 8 will fight candidate number 16, whereas the candidate with the blank card will fight the winners in the next round.
With a wave of Mr. Busher's hand, 17 jade cards hovered in the air, radiating faint light rays. Someone released his willpower to probe the jade cards, but his willpower bounced back as soon as it contacted the jade card. In order to prevent cheating, each jade card was equipped with a tiny formation that could bounce off any willpower. This could ensure fairness for all. No one objected to the rules. After all, luck was also a factor in winning a battle at some times.
Well, come up and draw your cards.
Paulson Colt stepped out first to get his jade card. Soon, other candidates, including Zane Martell, also stepped out. He glanced at his jade card and was startled. There was no number on his jade card, but only a word, blank.
Tell me your numbers.
I'm number 1 inch.
Paulson Colt flipped his jade card around, which had a letter, 1 inch, written on it. Someone else flipped his jade card around, too.
I'm number 5, too.
Number 4. Number 11.
Soon, all 16 candidates reported their numbers to Mr. Busher. Then, everyone turned around and stared at Zane Martell behind them. Zane Martell flipped over his jade card and said calmly,
I'm holding the blank card.
No one reacted strongly against that. After all, there was bound to be someone among the 17 of them to get the blank card.
Now, since everyone has gotten their number cards, candidate number 1 and candidate number 9 stay behind, and everyone else leaves the battle ring. Let me remind you guys again that you can't kill your opponent on the battle ring.
He only mentioned no killing, which meant other attacks were allowed as long as they were not fatal. Instantly, aside from Paulson Colt and candidate number 9, all other candidates stepped down from the battle ring. The battle ring was very wide, about 500 meters long. There were flickering runes on the floor, clearly indicating that the battle ring was equipped with a formation. 4 huge stone pillars around the battle ring lit up and released a semi-circle shield that enveloped the battle ring to prevent the attacks inside would implicate the audience. Standing in the battle ring, Paulson Colt stared into his opponent from Zoro region, who was around 24 or 25 years old. His eyes were full of disdain.
To warn you, I don't have the time to mess with you, so you'd better scram off now or...
That's funny. I should be telling you that. Just admit defeat now, or I'm worried your mom won't recognize you later when I beat you up so badly that you swell up.
The 2 refused to back down. The leading elders on the stands also discussed it among themselves.
Paulson Colt from the Dino Valley is the first to pass the test, right?
Yes, but that doesn't mean he's the strongest.
Exactly. All 17 of them are powerful enough to be qualified to stand in the battle ring.
The audience was still doubtful about Paulson Colt's strength. Just when they thought that a well-matched fight was about to break out, someone among the 2 suddenly made a move in the battle ring. A loud noise rang out. The young man from the Zoro region erupted with the extreme power of fire on his body. His body seemed to have turned into an element as he turned into a man of flames, rushing toward Paulson Colt.
Impressive. He is too fast.
However, Paulson Colt sneered coldly in response. He did not move at all. With a frown, he released a wisp of willpower from the space between his eyebrows.
You're just a nobody. How dare you fight me with that mediocre skills? Attack.
His willpower condensed into a silver needle the length of a palm, breaking through the air and flying directly into Zoro region opponent's forehead.
Ah, my head.
Almost immediately after, Zoro Region opponent fell onto the ground, rolling several times. He held his head with both hands and continuously screamed miserably. The next second, Zoro Region opponent passed out and completely lost his combat capability.
Yes. What the hell happened? Paulson Colt did not even make a move, yet he knocked out a genius from the Zoro region.
Some among the audience who could see through the attack shrieked in shock.
This is a divine skill from the Dino Valley, the Guna Spirit Eating technique. It must be cultivated along with the Guna Spirit Eating insect. It's a divine skill that focuses on one's willpower.
What, cultivating his willpower? I didn't know the Dino Valley had such a technique.
Everyone's expressions changed dramatically. The willpower was different from vital energy. It was very mysterious and difficult to defend against. Hence, Paulson Colt was able to knock that man down with one move.
Ha ha ha, great. This is great. He is indeed worthy of being a genius disciple of our Dino Valley. I guess it's safe to say the Dino Valley will have a Dragon Envoy of Newland this time.
Other leading elders' moods sank when they heard that. It was indeed impossible to defend against a willpower attack unless one's willpower was exceptionally strong. On the battle ring, Paulson Colt shifted his gaze to Zane Martel. His eyes turned cold and overflowed with killing intent as he said in a low voice,
Zane Martel, you almost killed my Guna spirit-eating insects and almost ruined my plan to cultivate my divine skill. This time, I'll make you pay for that. I'll make you return that dragon bone to me, too.
Naturally, Zane Martel noticed the hostility in Paulson Colt's gaze. He noticed Paulson Colt had become stronger again. However, no matter how strong Paulson Colt was, he was no match for Zane Martel. Therefore, Zane Martel grinned widely at Paulson Colt. Taking in his wide grin, Paulson Colt's expression stiffened and turned livid.
Humph, I'll let you live for a few more days. When I become the Dragon Envoy of Newland, I'll have plenty of ways to deal with you.
Paulson Colt jumped off the battle ring.
Paulson Colt from Dino Valley won the first round. Let's proceed with the next.
The second round was a young man at the peak of the 7th stage of the expert level, fighting against a man at the 8th stage of the expert level. Both of them emitted powerful auras, and they were both 3-star geniuses. As soon as they stepped onto the battle ring, they started to fight without saying anything. Although the young man's strength at the peak of the 7th stage of the expert level was impressive, he was still one step behind his opponent's level. In the end, the man in the 8th stage of the expert level slashed his opponent in the chest, leaving a horrible blood groove. His opponent could only surrender. Surrendering to the opponent was not a shameful thing in the battle ring. It did prove that they were no match for others. One's strength could be proven in the battle ring. The battles continued. This time, candidate number 3 faced off with candidate number 11. Candidate number 11 was none other than Ethan Haddon. Those who were interested in Ethan Haddon and Dante Kane could not help paying more attention to this battle. Not only the leaders from each region, but even those appointed as the Dragon Envoy of Carlton and Carlton Guards, along with the eliminated candidates, could not help watching the battle. Everyone was very curious about Dante Kane's and Ethan Haddon's strength, who came from the Amor Mountains. They could not wait to see the terrifying skills the two possessed, to make others shiver in fear of hearing their names.
Congratulations, Leo King. Your Amor Mountains have proven yourselves.
Some people began to flatter Leo King. Leo King grinned from ear to ear, very delighted about the flattery remarks. It was the most glorious moment for the Amor Mountains. Something strange happened. Ethan Haddon waved his hand lightly on the battle ring, and a dark green light emitted from his hand. His opponent knelt on the ground and rolled out of the battle ring.
Welsum, what are you doing? You're embarrassing us. Get up and fight now.
The leading elder of Welsum's region was furious. He stood up and shouted at Welsum.
Elder, I don't know what's happening. My body is not under my control at all. It feels like someone else is controlling me instead.
Hearing that, everyone was shocked. Was that a skill Dante Kane and Ethan Haddon possessed? To make their opponents yield to them without fighting? It seemed like the skills displayed on the battle rings were getting more and more bizarre. Welsum rolled out of the battle ring. Naturally, Ethan Haddon won the battle.
Ethan Haddon is the winner of this round. Let's carry on with the next round.
The next round was a fight between Dante Kane from the Amor Mountains and Logan Fury from the Fury region, which was also another super region. Logan Fury was extremely powerful, and his level had almost reached the early 9th stage of the expert level. His vital energy was constantly overflowing like a container filled with vital energy. He stepped into the battle ring. His body was like a weightless feather that could move at extremely high speed.
Are you Dante Kane from the Amor Mountains? I heard you killed many geniuses in the strange little world. Is that true?
Logan Fury's burly body was more than 2 meters tall, and his muscles were almost perfect, but they did not add any weight to his feather-like body.
I just don't understand. Were those geniuses that I killed nothing but a bunch of losers? How could they not get rid of a loser like you from the Amor Mountains? Well, it's different now. Your story ends here now that you're facing me.
You're confident about yourself, aren't you? Should I kill you here?
As Mr. Busher instructed for the battle to begin, Logan Fury stepped out and moved at an unbelievably fast speed. Because he moved so fast, his figure seemed to turn into a straight line the size of a hair as he shot toward Dante Kane.
Light wind feather.
His sharp and ear-piercing sound rang out. Around the straight line, hundreds of black feathers condensed in the void. At the top of each feather was a tip that was sharper than a blade. The dense feathers were infused with the extreme power of the wind. They moved ridiculously fast as he charged at Dante Kane.
Dante Kane, roll off the battle ring now. I, Logan Fury, will become the Dragon Envoy of Newland this time.
However, Dante Kane had been calm since the beginning of the battle. He even curled his lips and stepped forward, saying softly,
"Cage them."
In the next moment, Dante Kane pointed with one hand. 2 balls of dark green smoke appeared above his head. Then the smoke turned into 2 huge skeletons. The huge skeletons were actually 2 arms, which seemed to be carved from top-grade fine jade. A circle of dark green flowed lightly around them. The skeleton hands grabbed the void space, and a thick iron chain appeared out of nowhere. The iron chain was connected to a cage. The moment the cage appeared, all the feathers flying over to him were imprisoned at the same time and suspended in the air. Most of the audience inhaled a deep breath of cool air as they witnessed Dante Kane's trick. They fixed their gazes on the cage. They could not believe Dante Kane could counterattack Logan Fury's attack.
What was that?
Mr. Busher from the Carlton Dragon Palace frowned at that sight. Given his rich experience, he could not tell at first glance what the attack was. In the end, he murmured calmly,
Could it be that Dante Kane has a divine bone celestial body bloodline?
The crowd burst into an uproar as soon as they heard what Mr. Busher said. Many gasped.
Divine bone celestial body bloodline, how is that possible?
If Dante Kane has a divine bone celestial body bloodline, he will surely become the Dragon Envoy of Newland this time.
Immediately, someone congratulated Leo King in advance and began to flatter him more. The divine bone celestial body bloodline was extremely rare. This bloodline could not be passed down to the descendants like the demonic beasts.